Welcome back to Adore Cream's reviews of Hitnrun Phase 2. And today we're doing the second four songs off the album. This I'm holding up here is Prince on the inside cover of his 2014 classic album Artificial Age, which is almost as classic as the album I'm reviewing today. Okay, the songs I'm going to review today include Too Young to Dare, which is written as 2Y2D. Yeah, apologies for the hair. I'm having what Prince would call a bushy head mulatto breakdown at the moment. This hair will not settle, it grows too long, it afros up basically, which is quite funny. I've got very nappy hair basically, as Prince would say, let me caress your nappy hair. But anyway, these two songs, I'm not going to talk as much about them as I did with the first two tracks, Baltimore and Rock and Roll Love Affair. Now for Too Young to Dare, it's a good sounding song, but the topic is really generic. It starts off with a wonderful woodwind section. There's I think it's an oboe starting. It goes whoop 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 down, and there's some drum snare as usual. And there's some. It's actually a very good harmony song. There's female singing in the background. I'm not sure if it's these ladies or it's Judith Hill, Leanne. No, it's not Leanne. Possibly Delilah, known as Paloma Ayana, and also possibly could be Erin Allen Kane too. Who knows? But there's some nice female vocals. I suspect it might actually be Hannah or Donna. But anyway, the song was basically about a young ingenue. She wants to be a rock and roll star. She wants to go and make it in Hollywood, basically. So it's pretty much carrying on the theme of that last song, Rock and Roll Love Affair, except that she's not just going to settle for Idol or X Factor or anything generic like that. She's basically the type of person Prince is after, someone who's very authentic. And the start of the song always reminds me of the old Elton John song, Benny and the Jets. He talks about, how she's got a kick drum brain with the start of technology, and it's quite a catchy little song, actually. I really love the woodwind going through it, and there's some great horns, stop start, like almost trumpets and trombones in the background, and it's quite a funky song. Again, you could almost think that they're singing about sex, that the girl's looking for sex, but actually she's not. This is Prince being real clever again. He's bringing back all these double entendres. You think he's singing about one thing, but he's singing about something else, and you never actually know if she actually makes it or not. It just pretty much finishes where she's turning down X Factor and Idol, and then the girls just go, too young to dare, too young to dare. And even though I really like this song, this is definitely more a 4 out of 5 song rather than a 5 out of 5 song. Whereas Baltimore Rock and Roll Love Affair, true classics basically. Then we move on to the next song, which is Look at Me, Look at You, and this has a sort of light sound. I've made up a new genre of music Prince does. I call it Jazzique. And I know that sounds really silly, but Jazzique to me is basically like jazzy pop music, but compared to most Prince stuff, it's very lightweight. There's not much guitar in it. There's not really much instruments in the background, but again, there's this beautiful woodwind section coming in. And the song is basically about how Prince is sitting in a bar. Obviously, he sees this woman walk past, and she's so beautiful. He compares her to a drink, which is bizarre because generally, as you know, Prince is a big-time teetotaler, but, well, is he? We've always heard these stories about how he's dabbled, with ecstasy in '87, and he drank a bottle of wine when he wrote the second half of the Parade album and all this type of stuff. But anyway, I'm just showing you random pictures here because I am desperately waiting for this CD to come out. One of the good things about Plectrum Electrum, it's an album I like, but out of the 4 albums, it's the one I like the least, is it's got some amazing mashup pictures, and I really just love this stuff. And you Prince fans probably know too. The artwork of this booklet is amazing, and of course we can never go anywhere without this wonderful symbol. But anyway, to me, Look at Me, Look at You, he makes a couple of references to Dido, who apparently was the very seductive queen of Carthage who fell in love with Aeneas. I don't know how well you guys know your Greek mythology, but I used to teach classics, and hoping to teach classics again this year, and basically she was a seductress, and she put a curse on Troy, and if you've read Homer, you'll know what I'm talking about, but she was semi-mythical, but basically she was the type of woman who wanted to get what she wanted. And finally, this woman's flirting with Prince, obviously. He turns around and starts looking at her, and it sounds like she's starting to get cold feet. And she becomes a bit of an ice queen, hence why we have also the name drop to Nefertiti, who was basically the pharaoh ruler of Egypt during the time of Akhenaten IV, who was the Sun King. The man who basically ruined Egypt pretty much was very unpopular, and his son Tutankhamun took over, and he had a short reign as well. And it brought down the end of the 18th dynasty of Egypt. So Prince is digging into these historical roots, and although basically comparing, this woman he's just looked at for the very first time into these two great seductress queens of the past is pretty interesting. He also does a few contemporary R&B references. He talks about Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder, but overall, I have to be honest with you, I mean, out of all the tracks on this album, this is, apart from one other, this would be my second least favourite song on the album. It's alright, but I've never really been a fan of what I call as Jazzique stuff. It's alright, but there's just so much better, and the song that's coming is just going to blow you away because it's really, really good. It's called Stare, and yeah, I'll talk to you then. Have a good time. And I'm also really working on trying to not say so much. It's almost as bad as those videos you watch. I mean, I'm not being disrespectful, guys, but there's a lot of brothers out there making videos about Prince and other artists, and they always say, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They sound like Flavor Flav, and you just get tired of it. They just say it all the time. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so there you are. Two more funky songs off this album. I mean, they're like, B's in an album full of A's, but they're still definitely good. Cool. Okay, next one we're going to talk about Stare. And, of course, the next song after Stare is Extra Lovable. Again, not one of my favourites. Okay.